All right, so now I want to talk about natural nutrition plan for men. It took me years to get to this point where for me now it's very simple to understand this, but I'm shocked and I'm saddened. It's really depressing how horrible the average person's understanding is of nutrition and food. We live in a world where 95% of your choices are unnatural, fake foods. They're processed garbage. And I would argue that they're toxic to your body and your well-being. So the solution is natural nutrition. Now the question is, how can you learn what is natural, what is fake, really quickly and really easily? And so here is how I'll break it down so it's easy to remember. They say there's 5 food groups, but I believe that is completely made up and wrong. To keep it very simple in your head, I think of it as there's 2 food groups. There is animals and there's plants. That is what is natural, and you always want food in its most natural state, right? So now under animals and under plants, I'm gonna break down some categories and I'm gonna suggest what I think is ideal and then which ones you should be like a staple in your diet and you should have the most of, and what things are you should have limited or none of. So under animals, this is, meat, fish, chicken, and any animal products like eggs and butter and dairy. Now, I think that under animals you should be having mostly, steak, like beef, and fish like salmon, shrimp. Those are really great. And eggs are a phenomenal source of protein and fat. Now, what you should have limited of is dairy stuff, right? I do use whey protein in my fruit smoothies. But it is technically like processed and not natural, but just a little bit is okay. Milk, you want it in its purest form without anything added, like chocolate milk or something. And I think you should really limit cheese and yogurts. And yogurt, see, so many of these things are seemingly real foods, but actually fake foods today. And yogurt is a great example because if there's 50 choices of yogurt in the supermarket, 48 of them have added sugars, added total crap chemicals to make it strawberry, chocolate, banana flavored candy gumdrop yogurt or something, right? You want the plain, pure yogurt with nothing added in it. I happen to love Greek yogurt because it has higher protein and I think it tastes great in my smoothies. So now let me go on to plants. Plants is, vegetables, fruits, and under it I would say have limited nuts, seeds, and legumes, right? Your beans and stuff. So the bulk of your diet, I believe, 60% or so should be vegetables and fruits in moderation. And then, so basically, how to have a healthy meal. You should have some protein, some animal or eggs is really good, and some vegetables or fruits or something, right? So for an example, for breakfast, I'll have an omelet with vegetables in it, right? I'll put broccoli, tomatoes, onions in 3 or 4 eggs. For lunch, I'll have a chicken salad, right? So the salad is the vegetables, raw, which is always better. The chicken is the protein. And then for dinner, I'll have like a fruit smoothie. So I'm having raw fruit plus whey protein, and I'll often put peanut butter in it, right? Now, peanut butter is another very tricky one because like 99% of peanut butter you buy in the store is complete crap because it's sugar added, salt added, and who knows what else they add to these things. What you want to try to find, and I challenge you to find it because it's very hard, is just pure peanuts crushed. So the ingredients label should read ingredient, singular, not plural, peanuts. No sugar added, no salt added. And so you could actually get peanut butter made, and then that's a great source of unsaturated fats and protein. So, but now, like I said, it's very tricky. Another example of something really tricky would be bacon. If you ask me if bacon is good, I'll say, yeah, sure, it's high in fat, but it's got some protein, it's good. The problem is 99% of what you buy in the store is a product of bacon with sugar and nitrates and complete crap added, right? So you have to actually go to a butcher and get pork belly sliced into be natural, uncured bacon, and that is perfectly fine, right? It's perfectly fine in your overall nutrition plan. All right, so now that I quickly gave you an overview on what I consider natural foods, let's quickly define fake foods so you have a good, rule of thumb of what to avoid. The number one thing to avoid is refined sugar. Sugar is naturally found in fruit and things in nature, but it is always encapsulated in fiber. Refined sugar is completely void of any nutritional value, and it is completely toxic garbage for your body, which spikes your insulin and makes you fat, right? And it destroys your hormonal balance. So refined sugar is really horrible. And then the second thing is processed foods, right? So you want to always have something in its natural state. And a really good rule of thumb, I think about things, when I look at what other people are buying in the supermarket in their shopping cart versus what I have, my items tend to not be in packages and boxes. So if I'm buying steaks, if I'm buying, well, and eggs are kind of in a case, but I'm buying steak, I'm buying eggs and vegetables and fruits, there's not a box, there's not like a nutritional value label on them, right? Now, if you're buying health bars, which is really just a bunch of sugar and crap, there's a nutritional label of 50 ingredients. If you're buying, you know, a cereal or something like that, there's all the ingredients. So the more ingredients something has, the more it's fake. Because if you take a banana, the ingredient is banana. The ingredient is the thing. You're eating one thing. When I eat an omelet in the morning, it has eggs, tomatoes, broccoli, and onions. And now, if you're eating all natural stuff, people are kind of afraid to do that because they think it's not going to taste great. Okay, so how do you make natural foods taste great? And it's really simple with natural additives like salt, pepper, butter, oil, and I use a lot of spices, right? So I have like garlic powder, red pepper flakes, and maybe some others, but that's what I typically use with my omelet. So in my omelet, I have a tremendous amount of flavor. And you know, then I make something, say like fruit smoothies. It's got, I love my berries, so it's like strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, some combination of that with orange juice, whey protein, peanut butter, plain Greek yogurt, and ice cubes, right? So there's nothing fake or false in that. It's all like real foods. And so once you start phasing in more real foods, you're naturally phasing out the processed crap. And so anything you look at, you know, for a confusing one, for example, is something like cold cuts. It's meat, but it's processed meat. It's highly processed. And so while I think something like steak and chicken and salmon is great for you, cold cuts are horrible for you because it's loaded with sodium, salt, and all this type of crap, where it's like half meat, half crap. And cold cuts and all these processed foods, they cause cancer and all these issues with the body. All right, so what I just laid out is, you know, what's the difference between natural, what's the difference between fake, how to make your real foods taste great. And now the question is maybe how many times per day should you eat? What is standard is 3 times, and then people typically snack, and I think that's too much. So I lean more towards 2 times a day, but if I'm exercising, lifting heavy weights in the gym 5 times per week, I do have an increased appetite, so I will eat 3 times, and I never snack, all right? So you want to cut snacking out, and personally, I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting, which is just reducing the time you eat into a certain time frame. And so I typically wake up every day 5 a.m., and I just sip a black coffee with nothing in it, and then I don't eat until 10 or 11. And I actually go to the gym first, and then I eat after. So I work out on fasted workouts. I don't know if that's what it's called. And so I'll eat maybe like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., then I'll eat again at 2 or 3 p.m., then I'll eat again at 5 or 6 p.m. So I eat 3 times a day when I'm working out. If I'm not working out, I'll probably do 2 times a day because I don't feel as hungry. And on top of that, another little side tip, I do fasting. So that's something I'll do more videos about. You should check that out. Definitely experiment with it. Look up the benefits of fasting. It's incredible. I'll typically do 35 or 40 hours a week fast. So I'll eat my last meal Friday night, and then I won't eat again until Sunday 10 a.m. And so all day Saturday, I just drink some black coffee with nothing in it and a lot of water. And the first times you do this, you maybe feel lightheaded, it may be difficult, but overall I feel phenomenal. My body feels very cleansed. I don't feel like backed up and like, you know, like I feel weird if I just eat and never fast. And it also helps you lose weight, and for me it increases concentration and energy levels. So I'm really a big fan of fasting. So I just laid down what is probably extremely strict, obsessive, like dietary guidelines for the average American, the average person in modern society. And so what I would say is, while we should, I believe it is ideal that we should stick to 100% natural foods and 0% fake foods. Obviously, we're in a world where we're gonna eat ice cream once in a blue moon. We're gonna have pizza sometimes, right? So I would just say, the more you could phase in natural foods and the less you could have fake foods, the more health you're gonna have in your life, right? So I probably have something like 95% natural foods, 5% fake foods. And so, like for example, a couple times a week, I'll have a cheeseburger and French fries, which is not great for you. The bun is, you know, processed, the fries are fried, obviously, and so it's really just unhealthy. But once or twice a week, I think you're perfectly fine, especially if you're fairly active and you're exercising and going to the gym. And so just one final thought on how to think about natural foods versus fake foods, and I think it really comes down to a mindset shift on how you perceive food. I think that the issue is that the modern society has trained us to look at food as entertainment. What's tasty? What's exciting? What do I want? What do I want to eat today? Rather than nutritional. What is the nutrients and the nutrition that my body requires to function on an optimal level, right? So it's shifting your mindset around food being entertainment and fun to being nutritional and functional for your body, right? And so the more you're able to do that, you could be disciplined. And a very key thing I do is I go food shopping twice a week, and I buy these natural foods. And so it's like meal planning. I'm planning ahead that 2 or 3 of my meals each day are going to be natural, and so I'm only going to eat out a very limited amount of processed stuff. And so naturally, I call them like foundational meals. If you're planning if you're eating 3 times a day and you're planning 2 of them, and that's 100% natural foods, well, now the bulk of what you're eating is natural, and you're going to be much, much healthier and in a much better mental and physical and emotional state than the typical person who's eating a bunch of crap, a bunch of processed garbage, and they're gonna not feel as great, they're gonna feel tired, and they're gonna be out of shape and overweight, and they're gonna probably get more diseases, right? So this is just my theory on natural nutrition. I think it's very important that you phase these type of things in and experiment with them. And even if you start slowly and just have 1 very healthy meal a day, that's 1 less unhealthy meal per day you're having, and then you move to 2, and so on and so forth. So if you like this type of content, click subscribe, hit the notifications bell, like the video, and you could leave any comments. I'll read them all and reply. And yeah, anything you want to hear me talk about on these type of topics, just throw it in the comments section and I'll get that done. All right, thanks a lot. See you soon.